Okay, all said then. So the topic what Anthony had requested was paramis. Anthony, can you just again uh, reword your question you had asked about the paramis? Anthony?
Yes, sorry, one second. You want me to read what I said?
No, no. You just I mean,
Restate it?
yes, restate your question on the paramis. You had a question relating to the paramis. Can you just reiterate that?
Oh yeah, I was wondering how to like if one has the goal of becoming a Samma Sambuddha, how one can do that. Because Pure Dhamma like introduces it largely as something that just happens incidentally, like as an anomaly, and not something that like one's even like necessarily like aware of, and that like one has no real like control over. And also, there was the factor of if you attain a Magapala, whether or not like that disqualifies you from attaining some Buddhahood, because that would guarantee like your liberation, and since you've attained it from like another teaching and haven't discovered like Dhamma on your own.
Okay.
And is it possible to, if you say grasp the Nichiduka, not to then like to become a Samma Sambuddha and perfect the paramis?
Okay, sure. That's a very nice question. And the answer is in the, there is a story, there is a book on all the Buddhas, how they have done it. I don't remember the author, but I had read one book long time ago, and it was very nicely stated on referring to some suttas and how there so many Buddhas have come in the past before Gautama, and what caused and how they attained the complete knowledge on their own. In one of that, Dipankara Buddha, this Gautama at that time is a Brahmin youth, and he goes to the Dipankara, and Dipankara looking at his way this Brahmin youth is, and then he says that you are ready for liberation, actually, and then he says that I want to become a Buddha. I don't want to get liberated. So at that time, that youth had three of the 10 paramis which he had mastered in his previous life. So he says that you need to now master the remaining seven. It might take a long period of time for you in the samsara. So are you willing to do that? And then he says yes. So then he predicts that when he would become the Samma Sambuddha, and after his Nibbana, that is once Gautama uh, gets the complete awakening, and then in 7 days, what he goes along in each night, he sees so many different experiences he's been having. In one of that, he gets the knowledge about how Dipankara Buddha had informed him about the paramis and how he could do it. And those seven things, what seven paramis he was yet to complete, and then he completes. So that's what it is. So from that, I understood that you can have some paramis fully developed, even though you're a Tihetuka, that is, you have Raga, Dvesha, Moha, or rather Lobha, Dosa, Moha, and Alopa, Adosa, Amoha. So the Tihetuka is Aloba, Amoha, and Adosa. So that is non-greed and non-hatredness and um, what I can say, non-delusion. So even though the person has those set in, still he can master the paramis and ultimately master all the paramis, and once that is done, becomes a Samma Sambuddha. So there are two stages. One stage is that one person can learn from a Buddha and he can become an Arhat and follow the noble eightfold path, and knows or experienced on the noble four noble truth, and the tilakana, and can become an arhat. So in that case, he need not have to perfect the paramis. He can, whatever he has, the tihetuka, with that he can get liberated. However, if a person would not like to do that and then he wants to continue the samsara, mastering each one of those paramis, he can then do that without having to become an arhat. But he is an Arya, but he is not an Arhat. So Arya is a person who is on the path, and he knows what needs to be done. But an Arhat is a person who has completely liberated himself from the samsara, not to the level of the Samma Sambuddhas. And one of the aspect of the Samma Sambuddhas is that they can live as long as they want, and then they can keep on extending their lives instead of taking future births, because there is no future birth for both an Arhat as well as the Samma Sambuddhas. So, with that little bit of introduction on that, let us go further on what are these paramis. So, what is a parami? It is the duties are called as paramis, and it means paramam kammam parami, or paramam ayam parami. So, the highest of the kamma, which is faultless, is the paramis. So, there are 10 types of paramis. So, danam, seelam, chanekkam, panya, Viryena Panchamam Kanti Sacham Adittanam Metta Upekka Iti Te Dasa. So there are 10 of them. So one is Dana, that is donation. Sila is morality. Nekhamma is so I will take you to each one of them. So Nekhamma is a renunciation, and panya is wisdom, virya is the energy, khanti is the this forbearance, and sacha is the truthfulness, aditthana is the determination, metta is the loving kindness, and upekha is equanimity. So these are the 10 paramis what a person would get to become a Samma Sambuddha. So then there is something about paramis in terms of bhavati kamma, that is how a person should take an order. So in what particular order? Sorry, just a second. Okay, sorry about that. In what particular order this whole thing works? So it is like the stages of the womb, and there's the same sequence with which the paramis also work. So first the kalaham. So patamam kalanam hoti, that is the being is in a real fluid state, and then it becomes the the abuddham, that is it slightly solidifies and it becomes like a pesi, that means it's like a lump, and pesi nibbate ghano, that is now it has become much solid, and ghana pasaka jayati, uh, that is now it you can see the organs grown, and kesa, loma, naka, picha, that is, it has hairs, it has the light body hairs, and then it has the nails. Yan, yanchassa bhunjati mata annam panancha bhojanam tena so tatta yapeti matu kuchigato naroti iti. So you could actually see this whole diagram. This is what it shows, the whole cycle, how it is happening, how the cell is getting mutated, and how this being is being born. So it sticks to the mother womb, and then as soon as the mother is eating rice, and pana is drinking, so eating and drinking, and the food, what is being bhojanam means lunch and dinner. So as she partakes all of this, so this nara is nothing but the human being, and then it grows. So in the same way, just like the child is growing in the fetus of the mother, paramis also gets established in the same exact way. That's what it really means. So first thing is that a person going to become a Samma Sambuddha will start with Pahana Kamma, order of abandonment, Patipatti Kamma, order of practicing, Bhumika Kamma, orders of planes of existence, Desana Kamma, order of teaching by the Buddhas. So these are the four steps or sequence for a person to get the determination to become a Samma Sambuddha. So he will have dasanena pahatabba dhamma, bhavanaya pahatabba dhamma. So that is dasanena means he will see or experience it. Pahatabba is elimination, and he sees how the dhamma is there. And bhavana is meditation, and pahatabba dhamma, he experiences the dhamma in that way. So as though, and then the patipatti kamma is the order of practicing. So he will do the seventh stage of purification of morality and purification of mind and views. So Sila, Samadhi, Panya will be fully established, and Bhumi Kamma is that he will Kama Vakara and Rupa Vakara, Arupa Vakara. These are the jhanas which he will get into, and Desana Kamma is the teaching of Rupa Kanda, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana for the benefit of being. So this is what he will be teaching as a Desana. So then,
Can you explain real practically what Pahana Karma is and what Pati Karma is?
okay,
Just yeah.
Pahana is to remove. So Pahana, Viraga, Nirodha, all these three are something like a synonymous, or they are almost in the same path. So Pahana is how does he remove or how does he abandon? What does he abandon? He abandons by seeing how the Dhamma arises and passes away. So the Upada Titi Bhanga are the three states which he will experience in everything, right from breath. If you really see, as the breath enters in, there is a stop, so that is Titi, and there is an exhalation, so it becomes Bhanga, and again there is a stop, and again there is a, once you take the breath in, again there's a stop, and it's, so he sees this Udaya Vyaya, that is the Udaya is arising and Vyaya is passing away. So he experiences this in everything he is seeing. So let's say if we take anicca nature, and then he sees that the person now sees that the abandonment is the nicca nature in that anicca. So what is
But
really,
are we not talking about paramis now?
we're talking of parami only.
Okay, okay.
In that parami, if we were to go deeper, then you are getting into the pahana kamma. So in that he sees anicca dukkha anatta, and then his kammas, that is what should be done and what should not be done, will become very perfected. So that's what it is. So I'm now going deeper into that since you asked me this question. So can I go deep, or I shouldn't go deep, or what it
Yes,
is?
yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. So what is to be abandoned? The nicha sanya has to be abandoned. Then what has then the sukha, that is these four qualities of nicha subha atta nicha sukha atta as subha. So these four has to be abandoned with anicca dukkha anatta asubha. That's the reality. So initially we have this, so he is going to give up that, give up this wrong notion that these arising and passing away of the conditions and the dependencies are something which can be controlled. So he then, dasanena is to see, so he sees this happening and he experiences it, and that's the reason he has the bhavanaya. Bhavana is to experience or to really feel it. So actually, bhavana becomes like feeling, and in some English, if we were to do it, it becomes like meditation. So he actually sees and experiences these dhammas. So that's the reason it's called pahana kamma, how to abandon them. So he abandons those which has to be abandoned so that it doesn't get into the kamma vipaka later. So he is removing all of those, the asavas, basically. So then patipatti kamma is, pati is bonding. Patipatti is to really bond with something which is good. So he is now looking at bonding oneself with the moral values. So the 7 stages of purification is a very big topic, so I'll not take it up right now, because then that itself is a huge one. So the 7 factors of enlightenment will give you the 7 stages of purification also. So we can go on this sometime later. So he will look at practicing this for paramis. So each parami, if he takes, let us say, dana, then it is about giving away as a donation. So he will do a pahana kamma of the dana. That is, even if he has a small trace of expectation when he is doing the dana, he doesn't do that. Then patipatta kamma is that he will look at purifying his mind and views. That is the dhitti, the samma dhitti, what he has developed. And he will have a real moral values when he is doing dana. And same thing with the bhumi, that is order of planes of existence, kama vakara, that is, and kama, that is these planes of existence, the 3 planes of existence. What we are talking is kama, rupa, and arupa. So in the kama world, how the teaching should be given, and the rupa, how the teaching has to be given, and arupa, how the teaching have to be given. So that is the bhumi kamma, order of planes of existences. And finally, what he should be teaching, the desana, is that these 5 aggregates. So that is how this would work in those 10 paramis, one by one. So I'll go forward. So now we come to the serial order of perfection. So once the first one is that he will look at the dana. This is something what is easy to practice, because as we purify our senses in terms of giving up a lot of these fermentation or asavas, the first thing which gets into us is the dana. So if I'm practicing to become a Buddha, then the first thing I need to do is to give all that what I have, including my own life, for the sake of humanity. So if somebody were to kill me and against somebody, and then I go in between and then I get killed, that's okay, because I have understood that this how this life works. So then in the next life, I would have done what needs to be done in terms of dana. So it's like sacrificing oneself for the benefit of others. Is the highest amount of dana is to give one's own life to make something much better. So that's a dana. So the deepest of it is, the easiest of it is to give material comforts and cash and all of that. And also the Dhamma dana is the Mahadana. So that's the second dana. That is these discourses and teaching about Buddha's teaching, and all of that is helps in doing paramis, just like what I'm doing right now of talking to you and keep on talking about Dhamma all the time, creates that positive vibe which we can call as Javana, that is the energy, and then that helps in giving more and more and more, and as we start giving more and more, these paramis develop by itself. And the last one, that is the strongest of the one, is to give up one's life for Dhamma. So that is the first one. The second one is the Sila. Once I start giving, my moral values definitely increase. So I will not be doing most of the Dasa Akusala Kamma, that is 10 immoral deeds. Instead, I'll be doing 10 moral deeds in its place. So it purifies the being and increases the abstention from causing injury to oneself and others, and enables one to restrain from the immoral. So dana leads to getting wealth, whereas sila helps in getting human or a deva birth. So the more I give, the more I am wealthy in my next life. But then the more the sila, the better is my human existence, or even go into the deva world of existence. So these two are the ones which Buddha, as when he met Dipankara, had practiced 100%. So he was having the highest dana and highest sila, and then he had nekkhamma. He had renounced everything in his previous life. So he had perfected the morality, and he had good mental conduct and attainment of all the four jhanas, and he did not have any kind of kleshas coming out of his karma, and he had a asaya suddhi, that is disposition, and he had vipassana jnana, and the sankharas, how these sankharas work and how they come and how they go. So he had kamma sakata jnana leading to payoga suddhi, that is shuddhi, that is the payoga is effort, what he is going to put. So the whatever he is putting his effort or exertion, so he's purified that, and he has eradicated the mental defilements at the pariyuttana stage, that is at the time of renunciation phala, he gets into this removing of mental fermentations, and then finally he gets into vitakka kamma, which is removal of the mental defilements. So he has understood the anashaya klesha, that is latent, Parayuttana is the manifesting at the mind door, uh, what is coming in from the chakku. So he has understood very deeply about chakum cha paticca rupe cha upajjati chakku vinyanam. So he has experienced that there should be a chakku and there should be a rupa for the vinyana to arise. If one of them doesn't is not there, no vinyana arises. So he knows what is manifesting at the mind door, and the vitaka kamma is nothing but, and their defilements are fully operational, causing uncontrolled violent ways by Vachin Kaya Sankhara. So he has eradicated them. So Anushaya Klesha, Parayuttana Klesha, and Vitaka Kamma Klesha, all these three are removed. So when it was Dipankara Buddha who who was in a village, and he with all his followers, and this Brahmin youth, I don't remember his name, what Gautama's earlier name was in that life. It was there mentioned, but I don't remember right now. So he had these three paramis perfected, and he could have, with those three paramis completely done, he could have uh, joined the Dipankara Buddha and become an Arahat. But he chose to become a Buddha. So then what are the other? His Panya was good, but not 100% perfected. So because of this renunciation, that is Nekama, and his jhanas were to strengthen, and the wisdom was there. 1 second. Sumedha, yes, correct. Yes, perfect. Thank you, Anthony, for that. Okay, yeah, Sumedha. So so his Panya was almost completed, but not yet fully completed. So that was one what he wanted to do in that life, and to get that upaya kosala jnana, and then virya. Virya is the energy. So he had put a lot of virya in his earlier lives, and he was able to do that in the last one, where he found out that Kama Sukhalukani Yogo and Attakila Matanu Yogo, if he does any one of these two, he is not going to get liberated. So that is what he found after 6 years of, um, uh, you know, uh, basically he tormented himself, and he was doing the self mortification in order to attain the highest. So the virya was not fully matured in him, and it got matured in the life of Gautama. But he had almost perfected Kanti, that is the forbearance. So that again got manifested in the last life of his of as Gautama, wherein he had a lot of patience to continue on the path what he had taken. So he did not uh, abandon it. He, in fact, continued doing whatever he was doing. So his austerities were the highest. So nobody could actually do so much of austerity. So his virya and kanti were the highest, but it was going on the extreme. So that is what he found, that like that he shouldn't be doing. So he changed it, and then it really worked. So if you look at the kanti or the forbearance, and then we can see that restlessness, udacha, and a thorough reflection of Dhamma, that is Dhamma Nijjhana Khanti. That is, when you go to the fourth jhana, from there to the arupa level of existence and nevasanya, nasanya, and beyond, the person is able to see all the dhammas working together and how they arises and quickly vanish. So if one could see that, that person should have the highest amount of the patience and forbearance to see each thoughts, each of these rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyanas, how they really operate. So he was able to do that, and then because of that, he was able to remove the craving completely. So after that, he uttered a nice one, nice phrase after he became enlightened. He said, Aneka jati sansaran sandavisan aninbisan gahaka, like that. It's a huge, it is a big one. So I will take that in the end, possibly to tell you how he explained how he has removed the whole craving. So I will definitely cover that. So it's Kanti. Then Satcha, again, this kanti can last long when the person is fruitful, is truthful to render assistance to who have done wrong or being ungrateful. So he will have tolerance, and the truthfulness helps in never relinquishing the practice, even if it is misrepresented by others. So he will try to do this Satcha Aditthana. The next one will be Aditthana. So he will, uh, even if the person is misrepresenting him, he will not have a single hurt feeling for himself, and he will stand for the truth. Meaning he can show the insight to the people. And Aditthana is the determination or the resolution about how one can enjoy the fruit of the panya and the satcha. And metta is a loving kindness, and in that there are four. It's called Brahma Vihara. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. These are the four, and this needs to be established if one were to definitely become a Buddha. So all the four are required. At an Arhat level, this might not been fully developed. He might or she might have developed either the reflection of metta. In Sanskrit, it is called as Maitri, that is a friendliness towards all beings. Karuna is the compassion. Mudita is appreciative joy for all beings if they are doing something good in their lives, if they're able to get into the spiritual path or something like a human birth. They are very happy to see that this being has got a human birth. Now they can work together towards the liberation of, as the goal. Or if they are going to continue as a human being, still this person has highest amount of mudita, appreciative joy, and upekha is the equanimity. So what he needs to do is to cultivate this upekha in everything. So that is what is called as the middle path. So upekha is what you would get in return. So kama sukhalukanu yogo, attakila matanu yogo, as spoken in the Dhammacakka Pavattana Sutta. So Buddha found out that how this middle path can be done if one remain equanimous to everything. So giving up craving brings in the equanimity because there is no expectation. So once the expectation is not there, the craving itself will not be there. So upekha, it purifies metta and removes the greed, hatred, and delusion. So that is a primary thing. So the raga, dvesha, moha goes away, and the discomfort in the mind or the obstacles in the mind no longer there, even though physically people are tormenting. So Buddha, one working towards Buddha will have metta all the time. So they will not feel any pleasurable and painful situation, whether people are wishing them or people are not wishing them. They really don't bother much. So now we're coming into the lakhana. Lakhana is the characteristics of that. There is lakhana, the tilakhana is again part of this lakhana. It is anicca dukkha anatta. So in that way, there is rasa, pachupathana, padathana, like that it really goes. So we'll take the rasa. So rasa is the how do I explain this rasa? Rasa is the juice or the essence, basically. So what needs to be performed and what are the attainments the person is getting is what the rasa is all about. So he'll have tilakkhana here, rasa, pachupathana, padathana. So these are the three characteristics of parami. So in all those 10 paramis, these three are applicable. So if we take the dana, kicham vatasya samapatti rasoti paridipaye. So two aspects, kicha to be performed and samapatti is the attainment. So in everything, he what needs to be performed and what attainments he can see, that is the rasa. Pachupathana is phalam va pachupathanam upathana karopiva. So whenever a person ponders deeply on a certain mindset, what usually appears in his mind related to the nature of the mind object under consideration. So here if he is taking dana, he will get to know its functions, the cause and effect, and thus he can look at the manifestation of dana, sila, samadhi, and all of that becomes more and more clear to him. So he gets the phala, that is the fruit of doing it. And padathana is asanna karanam yam tu padathanatam matam. So there are contributory factors that help the person to get what should be got by those practices of paramis. So there are 4 of the dasa paramis. They are serving interest of others. So the person looks from the other's perspective, and that is the reason he can become a Buddha. He is not looking at himself, and that is what the Mahayanas treated as a bodhisattva or bodhisatta. Because of this, serving interest of others, assistance to others. And the third one is the manifestation in yogi's mind of knowledge that they have the nature of wishing and welfare of all beings. And the fourth one is the Mahakaruna, that is Upaya Kosala Jnana. That means the Karuna is at the highest. And again, this is where the Mahayanist took that, and he said that the Bodhisattva is the highest Karuna, so the Mahakaruna. So dana helps in destruction of the greed and miser attitude. Sila creates environment for abstaining from dasa akusala kamma. Nekkhamma, Mahakaruna, and Upaya Kosala Jnana. So the Vijnana and Sankhara, which aspire for vimutti from sensual existences, can see the faults of objects of sense desires, vattu kama, metal defilements and greed, that is klesha kama. So it has a sense of urgency, samvega jnana, to sort out the sun, that is raga, dvesha, moha. So this is what would actually help the person once he starts going deeper into it. Panya, it has the characteristics of penetrating the real nature of Dhamma. So the person now understands the Tilakhana completely and also knows the 5 aggregates and the Paticca Samutpada cycle. So now the proximate cause is the Samadhi. So he will have no confusion and is always in Samadhi. And virya is he can take pain, and he strengthens the factor of performing dasa kusala kamma. So he will get the samvega jnana, and he gets to know about jati, jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domana, sopayasa. All the 9 of these uh, continuities or bonds are understood by the yogi or the person who is working on that. Viryam bhavattu, these are 8 factors which promote exertion of are two concerning repair and maintenance, 2 concerning 2 of those skills concerning traveling, what needs to be done when it's going on traveling, 2 concerning ill health, and 2 concerning the meals, what is going to take. So there are various suttas which talks about all of these 4 into 2, that is 8. So that I cannot cover right now, and we can take it up sometime later. And these are it will remove the indolence. This is kusita vattu, and for that he will take. One feels tired in repair and maintenance, wants to take rest before doing it. Same thing with traveling. So he will come out of all of this when he is getting on the paramis. So he will, the person who is working on this path of paramis will move on rather than waiting or doing something or complaining and all of that. So these are the indolence, kusita vattu. He changes that to virya aramba vattu. So he makes these negative into positive. So then he has kantis. So he will overcome both the desirable and undesirable object, and he will be patient, accepts the situation, and he will have yatha bhuta jnana, which is seeing things as they really are. Then satya is the truthfulness. Its manifestation in the yogi's mind is nobility, sweetness, and pleasantness. So he will have the purity of thoughts, words, and deeds. Aditthana, he will have this complete fulfillment of perfection, and he will sacrifice and anything for moral practices and enlightenment. So he will have removed all demeritorious that are opposed to requisites and steadfastness in fulfilling the requisite with the proximate causes to in order to attain enlightenment. So that gives rise to metta. So it will welfare for all beings, and then is serenity and proximate causes is seeing beings as agreeable. So aham avero homi, apya bhajo omi, anigo homi, sukhi attanam pariharami. So that's exactly what metta he is going to be doing all the time with all the beings around the samsara, 3 times in a day, one in the early morning, one in the afternoon, once in the evening. And because of that, because of his steadfastness in the metta, the upekha, he will know, like in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, Buddha talks about this, each being is by their own kamma. So kamma sakha, this also is there in the Metta Sutta, which I just now recited. The kamma sakha is there. He talks about in all the people and all the beings across, from the avici to the topmost realm of existence, the kamma is the sakha. So he knows that anything that is happening in anybody's life is due to their own kamma and kamma vipaka, and then whatever is happening in his life also is due to kamma and kamma vipaka. So he will not worry about those karma anymore. So he has taken a very equanimous stand. So he will not take positions in terms of love and hate at all. So these 10 paramis get into friction as Mahakaruna and Upaya Kosala Jnana gets established. So that is how the person becomes established in the Dasa Paramis. So the condition is Abhinihara, that is, he should have an aspiration. So he should develop great compassion and skills in ways and means. Buddha Bhumi for groundhood for Buddhahood. And Ajasaya, 16 mental dispositions. Pachavekkana Jnana, he will have the reflective knowledge of disadvantage of not having paramis and advantage for this. Charana and Abhinya. So this is where he gets the Abhinya power. That is, he will get higher knowledge and higher wisdom. And there are 15 kinds of them. So there are 3 types of paramis. 10 are ordinary types and 10 are higher. Upaparami 10 is the highest, that is the Paramatta Parami. External objects and non-attachment is the ordinary parami. So a Pacheka Buddha can get into this, all the 3 or one of the 3, depends. But a person who is a Samma Sambuddha will always have non-attachment to one's own life. So if we were to establish paramis at this level by becoming an Arahat, and if we were to establish all the 10 paramis, is in terms of we have given non-attachment to external objects and its conditioning, it is the ordinary parami, but still makes us get liberated. Non-attachment to one's own limbs, hand, etc. So somebody cuts our hands and legs, but still we are not perturbed, or we don't have any hatredness in our mind and all that, and that is the higher paramis. And if somebody kills and there is no sense of danger or thinking on danger, is the highest parami. So there are this parami matika is very complicated one, and this will take a long time because this has all the 15 pairs of how this whole thing works. I think we can take this some other time, because then it will be very confusing. So any questions you have or whatever we have spoken this far?
Yes. So, ordinarily speaking, you'd be liberated in a set number of bhava maximum once you attain Magpala. But with a determination, you can extend that to give yourself time to perfect paramis. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's everything I have so far in terms of questions.
So in every birth of Buddha, if you go by the Jataka tales, which talks about the Buddha, and you'll see that in every life he had asked for another life to get his paramis completed, so he can extend the life as long as he can. So those people who would like to become a Samma Sambuddha would take as many lives as it would take and bring everyone together, and also they bring themselves to attain the exact perfection, so they can extend the lives.
I see. And I guess the other question I have is to avoid, say, like accidental liberation, would the determination also ward off that possibility? Like you could get really close but not actually liberate yourself from rebirth, so long as like you're determined to make it happen?
Yes, it is also possible.
I see. Oh, right. Now I remember I had another question. So, for instance, in like the story of the Buddha's life, early on, he didn't like necessarily like display perfection. For instance, like he was born into this palace with like sense pleasures, and of course, it might be hard to know like anything else when like that's all you've been exposed to. So he wouldn't necessarily have the wisdom to see beyond that. But at the same time, it just seemed odd to me that somebody who had perfected paramis in the past life would have like any sort of like proclivity to like sense indulgence, which he like uptook, but it was really like when he was like say 29 that he started to wonder, oh, is there anything beyond this? And he wanted to go beyond the palace. So I was wondering, like, do you know the mechanics of like past life gati setting in, and like
That
how
actually sets in.
certain defilements can like
Yes,
maybe obfuscate the paramis that you have? And
yes. Actually, both in the Arya kind and the Anari kind, you will get the past life regression. So you will be able to go back to your past lives and then see what you were in your past lives. That is very much possible. So as the paramis get stronger, or even at a reasonable level, they get established, the person starts to see all his past lives. That's possible. Like
okay,
in my case, I was able to see one of my past life. It is not all of my past life. So I was able to see one of my past life, what I was doing at that time, because of explaining some concepts to someone where I was working, and then uh, that time I felt uh, 1 minute.
okay.
Okay. So somebody was, from the Discord server, I was getting a lot of messages. So I just wanted to mute that off.
Oh,
Okay. So I was able to see, I think that was around 700 and odd 80
mm-hmm.
from I could recall. So if that is the what I saw while I was explaining certain concepts, and then I have been in this life for 1,300 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's possible actually. As we purify ourselves, and then the past lives can be seen like a sequence. So uh, only one I could see, but if I were to, really get close to all the, purifying my senses, and going still more deeper, and then establishing at least 3 or 4 paramis for myself, and then I think I can go to find out all the lives I have led. Because one of that is the jnana, what Buddha talks about, that an arhat level, definitely the person gets to see all his previous lives. So he says purvana anusati, that is purva nivasa anusati, that is purva is past and nivasa is stay. Anusati is to exactly see what he was doing in his past lives.
Oh, I see. My question was actually this though, because he had like same Buddha Gautama's like final birth, like wouldn't he be born like pretty much close to perfect? So I was wondering how is it possible for him to like indulge in like any sense pleasures when he was born? So I was wondering like is there some sort of delay with like past life gati setting in?
Yes, that happens. So that is what Deepankara had explained to Sumedha.
Hmm.
See that the thing is that, let us say, in the three of us, that is you, Axel, and myself. So we three guys are right now here. So we are now talking about Dhamma. So when we were born, or even 10 years ago, we wouldn't have had anything to do with Dhamma. Let us say.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden we started getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
So the gati interferes for sure, because those karma might take a whole life but not really give that person anything he's doing with dhamma.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden it might come in that life or in some other life. So this was the exact question what Dipankar had asked him.
Mm.
That why do you want to become a Buddha when you can become an Arahat right now? And
Okay.
he said, I don't want to become an Arahat right now. I am interested in becoming a Samma Sambuddha myself. So then he predicted when he's going to become. So even though he was born as Gautama and he indulged in those sense pleasure because all those asavas were there. So even though he had perfected many paramis, three of them he had completely mastered and perfected it 100%, and the remaining were in different levels of perfection. But
Hmm.
still, he got indulged into all kind of these sense pleasures.
I see. Okay. Thank
Sure. Axel, do you have any questions?
you. Axel disconnected. His internet quit working.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. So then it's between you and me. Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Okay, if we don't have anything, then we can disconnect.
Okay, that works for me. Is this going to be posted anywhere, like to
Yes,
review? Okay.
actually, this is getting recorded. So the moment I stop the recording, it will be there.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to revisit it.
Yeah,
Thank you
sure.
very much. It was
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah. Thank you for the call. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.